Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. A little bit of a different setup today. I've done this before. You'll see a little bit of crackling and stuff in the background. I thought that kind of looks like snow, and since I'm in cold Ohio, why not have something that looks a little bit like snow? So anyway, I decided to go with it and leave it in, just for the time of the year, the spirit of the season. Anyway, I wanted to get on here and talk about a few things. Set a few things straight, I guess, about the Tacoma. You know, a few things that I keep hearing here and there, some myths, if you will. And the first one is that it doesn't have enough power. You know, I've heard that and seen that. I don't know how many different times. I don't know what people are talking about. I mean, yeah, it's not a 0 to 60 in 3 second car, but it's not a car. It's a truck. I think it's plenty fast enough. I mean, there are other options out there. You know, if you're looking for something that really gets up and hauls, you know, buy a Corvette. Or if you got to have a truck, buy a Raptor or maybe even a Tundra. I don't know. But I think there is plenty of power when it comes to the Tacoma. It would be nice to have a V8. Don't get me wrong. I mean, any car guy is going to tell you we want more. But it's perfectly fine the way it is. It's certainly not a reason to go out and buy something else, in my opinion. The transmission. A lot of people complain about the transmission, that it never can settle on a gear. You know, that it's always looking for some gear. I don't know. I haven't experienced that myself. It seems to be nice and smooth. It might be a little rough when it's cold. But what vehicle isn't? Otherwise, I really don't notice anything crazy about the transmission. I never feel like it's wanting for a gear, you know, like it's always trying to find one. The only thing I'd say that I may have experienced, and this isn't anything with upshifting, is downshifting. When you're coming to a complete stop, occasionally, and again, I think this is really more when it's cold, you can kind of feel it kind of like kick down, if you will, if that makes any sense. You know, you're slowing down, you're coming to a stop, you're almost stopped, and it kind of kicks down. Not a big deal, and like I say, it seems to only do that when it's cold. After it warms up, never notice that at all. The in-tune system. The radio is no good. Now, I did a video on this not too long ago, talking about the in-tune system, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I mean, come on. The radio system is fine. It is far superior to what is in the Tundra, that's for sure. The Bluetooth system works perfectly. You know, connectivity to my phone, whereas in the Tundra it didn't work really at all. It was really basically useless. Worked seamlessly. No problems, no issues with people hearing me on the other end or dropping calls or anything like that. It works great. The quality of the sound coming out of the sound system, in my opinion, is just fine. Now, if you're an audiophile, you know, and you're listening for that nth degree of clarity and perfection, well, first of all, I'd say you better have a big wallet because it's going to cost you a lot of money no matter what vehicle you buy to get that. But certainly adequate, if not a touch above adequate in the Tundra or the Tacoma. No issues with the in-tune system as far as I'm concerned. It works perfectly. This I hear here and there that if you have a truck, specifically a lifted truck, you have to have a Sidesteps. You got to put Sidesteps on it. Now, honestly, I kind of go back and forth with Sidesteps myself. I've thought about taking them off of my truck, you know, over here, getting rid of this, because it would be a cleaner, more aggressive look, I think. The argument is that you've got to have them if you're, you know, wanting to be able to get in and out of the truck easily. Now, I would argue that if you haven't lifted your truck and you're probably taller than, I don't know, 5'7", 5'8", something like that, they kind of get in your way. Because basically with the truck set at the OEM height, the stock height, you can pretty much step it up into the truck without needing those side steps. And the way that the truck is designed over here, you can see me through the snowdrops there, Once you step up into these steps, you kind of have to bend down a little bit to clear your head here to get in. Whereas if you just step up into the truck, you don't have to do that. So I would argue that no, you really don't need them. They're more aesthetic. When you're over 5'7", 5'8". Now on a lifted truck, maybe a little bit different story. My truck is obviously lifted, and of course others lift it even higher. In that case, probably does come in handy where you can step up on these steps, be standing up on them, and then, boy, look at all that snow. And then kind of ease yourself back down into the seat. Let's see. This one I love. The arguments about exhausts and exhaust note and sound and all that, there are tons of them. About as many as there are different options that you can go. And that is that you can get V8 sound out of the Tacoma, out of a V6 motor. Come on. It's a V6 motor. You're not going to get V8 sound out of it. You're not going to crank it on. It's not going to sound like a 1983 Mustang GT, or a 2017 Corvette with the valves open. It's not going to happen. You're never going to get it. It's not a V8 motor. That being said, you can put some aftermarket. There are some aftermarket options that you can use. I have the MBRP system on mine. It gives it a throatier sound at startup. Gives it a bit of a grumble when you're sitting at the stoplight. Kind of evens out when you're driving. And that's about the best you can expect, I think, unless you want one heck of a drone in the cabin when you're driving. Probably the best option to go if you just want a little throaty sound, but nothing overwhelming, is probably the TRD exhaust. It'll give you just a little bit of grumble, but it isn't going to give you hardly anything in the cabin. I had one on the Tundra, and that's about how I would describe it. A little bit of throaty grumble on startup, a little bit of throaty grumble on takeoff. Basically nothing in the cabin when you're driving, cruising along. Kind of what you get. There's not a whole lot of sound out of those. But if that's what you're looking for, that'd probably do it for you, I think. Let's see. This one has come up recently. I put up a video about raising the seat, raising the rear of the seat. We're not going to go into all the would-be engineers out there and their views. But this has to deal with that the truck needs an electric seat, that it needs an electric seat for adjustability. Now, I don't know if this is coming from people that own Tacomas or don't own Tacomas, but I got to tell you, there's not a lot of room in the Tacoma. I mean, if you put an adjustable seat in that thing, I don't know what you're going to do with it. You might be able to raise the seat up about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. As far as moving it back and forward, there's really not a lot of play in that either. So I don't know what you gain. It's not like the Tundra where it's cavernous inside and there's all this space to deal with. So you can move it back 6 inches and forward 6 inches and up in the air 3 inches. You don't get that in the Tacoma. It's just the way it is. It's the way the truck's built. If you don't like that, I don't know why you're in a Tacoma or why you're looking at a Tacoma. But an electric adjustable seat just doesn't make sense because you can't do anything with it. You're going to pay all that money for that seat, for that option, and then never be able to do anything with it. I don't understand. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is funny to me, there's some new competition coming. The Jeep Gladiator is coming. The Jeep truck. The highly anticipated Jeep truck. Now, I've been excited about this myself. I can't wait to see one in person. I got to admit, from some of the pictures that I've seen so far, I'm a little underwhelmed. I'm not sure that I'm digging it, But we'll see until I see it in person. Sometimes pictures don't do vehicles justice, so I don't know. But the thing out there is that Gladiator is going to somehow dethrone the Tacoma's dominance in its segment. I don't think so. I mean, from the pricing I've heard from this new Gladiator, you're going to be talking maybe 40s, 50s for the Rubicon or the higher end, trim levels. I don't know. But I don't see how it could possibly dethrone the Tacoma, just giving the price alone. Forget about the capabilities and all that stuff. I mean, the Tacoma is the top of the hill in off-road vehicles. I mean, it is. And to come in here and knock it off, I think it's going to take a lot. Now, who knows? Maybe they'll do it. I don't know. It's certainly not something that's going to happen overnight. And frankly, I would be surprised if it happens at all. They are really still, in my opinion, two different segments, there's enough difference between the two of them that I don't think you're going to take a Tacoma owner, a Tacoma, die-hard buyer and switch them over to a Gladiator. I just don't see it happening, and vice versa. There are die-hard, dedicated Jeep fans out there that are going to go with this Gladiator, most likely, and they wouldn't go to a Tacoma anyway. So I don't see that happening. Time will tell. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about those few things. There's always a lot of misinformation or myths out there, or things that people say about the vehicle, especially, it seems, folks that don't even own one and have never even driven one. I guess they're kind of armchair experts. I don't know. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed the snow here for the season. Can kind of make that happen with my hand. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day. Bye.